What we have behind me is a document where Judge Beresky gives a smackdown to Lori Vallow's lies. But before that, I do need to talk about another document. It was a handwritten document by Lori Vallow where she attempted to get rid of Judge Beresky and then attempted to get rid of the judge that refused to get rid of Judge Beresky. Now, I couldn't read it. It was really hard. It was very light, but some people powered through and gave out the key parts. The key parts is that Lori complained she was forced to go to court while sick. She complained she was not given water and was dehydrated, and that she was terrified of the explosive judge, Judge Beresky. Now, as we know, at least from what we've seen in court, there was no diagnosis for why she shouldn't be in court, being sick. She was given water, you can see it on videos, and I would not call Judge Beresky explosive at any point. But let's get into his statement here about Lori. The court has received and reviewed the defendant's motion to dismiss abuse of discretion, filed with the clerk of the court on June 9, 2025. The defendant requests the Maricopa County Supreme Court or Court of Appeals dismiss her case. There is no such thing as the Maricopa County Supreme Court, nor the Maricopa County Court of Appeals. Perhaps the defendant intended her motion to be submitted to the Arizona Court of Appeals, Division 1, but it was not. It was filed with this court, and therefore, the court must rule. Oh, she is so dumb. Let's continue. The defendant's motion urges a number of narratives that are verifiably false upon review of both the written record and the for the record recording of the trial. Given the defendant continues to argue she was physically unable to proceed to trial, the court will supplement the existing record. Oh, I love it. To note the following, in order to further assess whether the defendant purported illnesses were impacting her ability to proceed, the court continued to observe the defendant throughout the trial. The court observed that while the jury was present in the courtroom, nothing in the defendant's mannerisms, voice, as well as her interaction with the court or witnesses would cause this court to suspect her health was in any way negatively impacting her ability to proceed. And we have a second page. On June 9th, 2029, after filing of this motion, the defendant again argued she was not able to proceed with trial when she reported a new medical issue. Later that same day, upon finishing her cross with witness Marianne Robb, and the state was redirecting the witness, the defendant was even observed to be laughing, smiling, and conversing with her advisory counsel, appearing to be in very good spirits, exhibiting no impairment whatsoever. The court continued its observations of the remainder of trial, including closing arguments. The court observed no outward appearance of the defendant experiencing any distress or difficulty in acting and advocating as her attorney. The record supports the decision to move forward with trial over the defendant's objection. It is the order denying the defendant's request for oral argument on this case. It is further ordering denying the defendant's motion to dismiss. So, she was pleading to courts that do not exist about things that didn't happen. That's great. So, I'm sure we'll get more of this from her, because she has nothing left, right? Today is verdict watch, if you haven't been following. Today is verdict watch. They've already done closings. So, not only have they done closings, she's already said that if they return guilty, she's stipulating to the aggravating factors because she doesn't want to have to sit there and hear people talk about what she's really like. She's already done that. So, the revenge tour didn't go the way she wanted. She didn't get her witnesses to do it. She didn't get to pull all the people in. But don't worry. Remember, there's always more. And if you haven't been following, There's an Arizona appeal. Oh, there's an Idaho appeal. She's going to appeal Arizona. But a big one is Idaho has repeatedly mentioned Melanie. A lot of people in this case have asked, why is Melanie not charged? And we know from the prosecutor, Melanie is the subject of multiple investigations. I would not be shocked if she is picked up. And if she's picked up, it's going to be a while, but we'll be back in court. And I get the feeling she is going to be very similar to Lori. Because what does she have to lose? Lori is a mother figure. And maybe it'll rub off on her. She's got to be just doom watching this trial because they keep mentioning her. And then I did look at some other people because I didn't watch the Idaho trials. And you can tell me in the comments how much of this you've thought of. People were claiming, and I can't verify they're claiming, that there was discussions between Lori and Alex and Chad and Melanie about Melanie possibly giving them money. There was like money going back and forth, so there was a financial motive, and people seemed kind of confused that didn't get brought into this trial. But anything like that, of course, would get brought into a Melanie trial, a theoretical Melanie trial. That is, if she doesn't plead guilty, but I mean, what's the point of pleading guilty to these crimes? You're not probably getting out, right? You're probably going to do the trial, and maybe she'll have her own revenge tour. I think that's kind of where a lot of people are at. They want to see this verdict, and a lot of people are like, and me included, I hope that Melanie is under surveillance. As soon as they made the decision that they're going to mention her open investigations, which was prompted because of Lori knocking, shoving, beating on the door, trying to bring up stuff she shouldn't. I hope as soon as it was mentioned that there is surveillance of her, because everyone in this scenario just seems to have money, and I would hate for someone to run. I would hate for her to run and get far. So it to me, the public pressure is going to be immense, especially following this verdict for Melanie, for the police to actually charge her. I think it's an inevitability. Will they have enough to convict her? I mean, they've had it. Well, we're going to see if they have enough to convict Lori, right? I think the evidence is pretty. I think the Lori trial has been pretty damning of Melanie. She's in communication with them at the weirdest times, and she's visiting them at the weirdest times. Like, oh, it's just a coincidence, but especially in the Brandon case, everything at its core required Melanie. It's gonna be an interesting time. Hopefully, we get some answers soon on that. I'm gonna be waiting for the verdict, and who knows how many more documents like this we're going to get, more statements from Lori, more filings against her. She doesn't even know what courts to send them to.